redistribution of wealth. This is not some Robin Hood scheme. It is extreme and impractical socialism. For the Congress party believes in a utopian world where the redistribution of wealth, the redistribution of income, and the redistribution of assets among all citizens of the country brings all citizens of the country at the exact same economic level. This is practically impossible because wealth creation and asset creation is the fundamental center of human activity. How will the Congress party redistribute assets, wealth, and income? Do they even know? Will they take away the hard-earned property that people have? Will they snatch the assets that families own? Or will they force you to give up the gold that you save for, hoping it will help you on a rainy day? If they're going to take away everything as a matter of right, and if everything you earn will be redistributed anyway, then ask yourself, why should you earn it in the first place? Why should you work so hard for it? Why should you work so hard for it if the Congress party will force you to give it up? Also, relevant to ask, how much will you redistribute? How will you redistribute it? Will you redistribute apartments? Will you redistribute farms? Will you redistribute cars? Will you redistribute all the physical assets that anyone owns? Ladies and gentlemen, I began by saying that this Congress idea is crazy. I correct myself, it's not crazy. It's not crazy. It's positively dangerous. Debate number 1 tonight. Weeks after the Congress party promised to hold financial and economic surveys after a caste survey voted to power, the Prime Minister warns that the Congress party will distribute your wealth. Is this an appeasement attempt by the Vadra Congress? Debate number 2 this evening at 10 p.m. I'll be speaking to the BJP's increasing high profile and increasingly controversial candidate Madhavi Lata from Hyderabad, who was in a fix over the arrow gesture and was charged and who took on Owaisi at a poll booth. That's at 10 p.m. tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, following that, the big controversy across Karnataka, statewide protests in Karnataka over the Neha murder shocker, the BJP giving it a love jihad angle. Is the Congress party downplaying this case? That's at 10:15 p.m. So it's a very hot show. And here are the headlines this Monday evening on the debate tonight.
कांग्रेस और इंडी गठबंधन की नजर आपकी कमाई पर है, आपकी संपत्ति पर। कांग्रेस अपना पंजा मारना चाहती है।
The Prime Minister takes on the opposition once again on this issue, says the Congress party's wealth redistribution plan is dangerous. Uproar after the Prime Minister's wealth redistribution remark. The Congress calls it a bid to divert attention. As statewide protests in Karnataka as India demands justice for Neha Hiremat. Politics over the Neha murder case. The BJP claims the Congress government in Karnataka is downplaying the case. Gokesh Scripps history becomes the youngest to win the FID candidates chess tournament, qualifies for the finals. And Venkaiah Naidu, Mithun Chakrabarti, Usha Uthop, Ram Naik confirmed the highest Padma awards by the President. Ladies and gentlemen, in election time, the headlines are getting hotter. The Prime Minister's remarks on the redistribution of wealth during a poll speech in Rajasthan have sparked a huge row. The Congress says, the BJP says the Congress wants to redistribute people's gold and valuables and land and hand it over to infiltrators, among others. The Congress responds by saying this is an attempt at diverting attention. Let's debate.
जब उनकी सरकार थी उन्होंने कहा था कि देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। ये कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो कह रहा है।
Prime Minister Modi has triggered a political backlash over property redistribution remark.
जब उनकी सरकार थी उन्होंने कहा था कि देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। क्या आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा घुसपैठियों को दिया जाएगा और उनको बांटेंगे, जिनको मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार ने कहा था कि संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। भाइयों बहनों, ये अर्बन नक्सल की सोच, मेरी माताओं बहनों, ये आपका मंगलसूत्र भी बचने नहीं देंगे।
This comes weeks after Rahul Gandhi promised to hold financial and economic surveys after a caste survey if voted to power.
हम फाइनेंशियल और इंस्टीट्यूशनल सर्वे करेंगे, ये पता लगाएंगे कि हिंदुस्तान का धन किसके हाथों में है, कौन से वर्ग के हाथ में है। और इस ऐतिहासिक कदम के बाद हम क्रांतिकारी काम शुरू करेंगे। जो आपका हक बनता है वो हम आपके लिए आपको देने का काम करेंगे।
Calling Congress's proposed wealth survey worrisome, he doubled down appeasement charge on the grand old party.
कांग्रेस के शहजादे का कहना है कि उनकी सरकार आई तो कौन कितना कमाता है, किसके पास कितना धन है कि जांच कराएंगे। ये जो संपत्ति है सरकार अपने कब्जे में लेकर उसको सबको बांट देगी। ये मैनिफेस्टो उनका कह रहा है।
Fortifying Prime Minister's claim, the BJP posted a 22-second video of Manmohan Singh's speech from 2006.
We need to be revitalized. We will have to devise innovative plans to ensure that minorities, particularly the Muslim minority, are empowered to share equitably in the fruits of development. They must have the first claim on our resources.
The India Alliance has called out Prime Minister Modi for hate speech.
किसी भी प्रधानमंत्री से, कोई पार्टी का प्रधानमंत्री हो, उससे देश कभी अपेक्षा नहीं करेगा कि आप जो है प्रधानमंत्री हैं तो प्रधानमंत्री ना कोई एक पार्टी का होता है, ना एक जाति का होता है, ना एक वर्ग का होता है। प्रधानमंत्री देश का होता है और जब देश का प्रधानमंत्री होता है तो बात तो भी उनको उस लेवल की करनी चाहिए, मेरा मानना ये है।
तो देखिए, हम तो यही कहते हैं कि मुद्दे की बात करें। प्रधानमंत्री जी हाथ जोड़ करके अपील करते हैं कि नफरत की राजनीति छोड़े, मुद्दे की बात करें।
Is wealth survey another appeasement attempt by Congress? Let's debate.
Now, this, especially after the Prime Minister has raised it, there are many people who are getting concerned about what exactly the Congress party means by referring to possible redistribution of wealth or assets or income or gold. There are articles being written on it. The Prime Minister has raised it. I welcome into the debate this evening Nalin Kohli of the BJP, Kishore Subramaniam, a right-leaning economist and analyst. Kapil Madan backs the Congress party. Lokesh Jindal backs the Congress party. I want to start by asking Dr. Santosh Mehrotra, well-known economist. Dr. Mehrotra, redistribution of wealth or assets and the promise that there will be, after the Congress party comes to power, a detailed caste census, a survey of wealth, and after that, there will be a possible redistribution of wealth, more or less to bring everyone on a median line. Is this practical? And has this been truly thought out?
I found your entire introduction very amusing. I'll tell you why it was so amusing. because it is interesting that the socio-economic caste census was already done in this country between 2011 and 2014. And this government, the current government, is actually using it to identify who is poor and who is likely to be a beneficiary of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. This government is using it to identify the poor who will be entitled to the Ayushman Bharat free treatment in private hospitals, etc., etc. This is something not new. Point one. And there is no mention whatsoever about redistribution. So do not read your own prior ideas into the document, and kindly do not put words into the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's mouth, and I will read to you what exactly he had said, because you very conveniently misquoted, or you quoted a very partial statement. What is his statement? I'll read out to you very fast. Our collective priorities are
Can't sleep? इसीलिए ये मैट्रेस नहीं. Get the Sleep Company mattress. India's only patented smart grid technology with 2,500 plus air channels that keeps you cool. There's softness that relaxes pressure points and firmness that supports your back. Visit our nearest store now.
Plans of STs and STs will need to be revitalized. We will have to devise innovative plans to ensure this is the only bit that you quoted very cleverly, to ensure that minorities, particularly the Muslim minorities, are empowered to share equitably in the fruits of development. They must have the first claim on resources. When they say they have the first claim, they're talking about SCs, OBCs.
Can you repeat that last part? First claim on
Excuse me,
resources.
I am not going to repeat it. I'm not going to waste your and everybody else's time. I think the point is made. You deliberately took out, and BJP has been deliberately, and the PM deliberately, consciously took out a very small part of a much broader statement. Professor Manmohan Singh, Dr. Manmohan Singh, is a much more large-hearted man. He doesn't need to be as narrow-minded as the BJP or the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's
May I come in for a minute, Arnab?
statement has come precisely at a time when there was low voter turnout in the BJP-ruled states. It's amusing. I go back to my amusing point and I will stop, that BJP ruled and Nitish Kumar himself has carried out a caste survey. And he is your chief minister now. Your party is supporting him. No one is saying anything about the caste census. Your own government is using the caste census. I can only be amused at the kind of build-up that you have done at the beginning of this show.
Right. Thank you for that. I'll let Nalin Kohli respond to you.
Respond?
However, before Nalin Kohli comes in, we cannot put anything in parentheses or brackets or in lower fonts. And what I would put in a larger font, underlined and in bold, would be that Dr. Manmohan Singh said that minorities, especially Muslims, should have the first right on the nation's resources.
He did not say that.
That is a terrible thing to say. That is a terrible thing to say, for which he has been rightly castigated.
He did not say that. So
do not lie. Now, Dr.
I'm not going to allow you to lie.
He said exactly that. He said exactly that. He said that, and he said that in the context, but he said that. Now, he has said that, and I didn't put the words in his mouth. Now, Dr. Mehrotra, Nalin Kohli wants to respond. The point being made on the other side is that this is not exactly what the Congress party has said in its manifesto. It is said that the Congress party has said that there will be a caste census, and it is said that it has been reported that Rahul Gandhi has said that after institutional and caste and economic census, there will be very strong attempts made to sort of redistribute India's wealth. But they are saying they did not say that in as many words, and there is a bit of fear-mongering that is being done by the Prime Minister and the BJP on this? Nalin.
It's not amusing. In fact, this entire thing of the Congress party is anything but amusing. And I think we need to break it down point by point for your viewers to understand. First, either the Congress party has a terrible drafting team, or Mr. Rahul Gandhi is back to what he always does. He comes out with a statement and it leads to people coming up there to explain this is not what he meant. Even when it is in black and white. What is redistribution of wealth? I mean, even somebody who is been an average student all his life, forget about being an economist, will understand redistribution of wealth in terms of adjusting inequities is what the socialists, communists and other governments over the world have done and have been since discarded. Discarded by even the Congress party, which under the great Dr. Manmohan Singh brought in liberalization in 1991. So having moved away from there, you come now to a position where some fancy person gives a fancy idea and Mr. Rahul Gandhi, in his fancifulness, goes ahead and puts this in the manifesto because first he came up with Nyay, now he comes up with redistribution of wealth, and I'm unable to understand how is Nyay or justice done by creating injustice for another class of people. Whether it's on religious lines by saying Muslims will have the first right, or whether on economic lines by saying someone who has slogged all their life, built a single home, someone who has saved all their life, now everything will be taken because the Congress party is desperate for votes. It's as simple as that. And I'd wish to ask another detailed question. Is this word sovereign, socialist, democratic Republic of India, the Constitution's preamble, 2 words were added by Mrs. Indira Gandhi during emergency, socialist and secular. So perhaps we need to sit down and talk about this bluntly. India didn't require to have the word secular in its constitution right up to the emergency. This was, is, will be a secular country. But this 76, when the secular word is imported, it has led to what is called pseudo-secularism, which the BJP has fought tooth and nail. And this is pseudo-secularism where you say Article 14 of the Constitution must be junked. Indian citizens must be treated unequally, which is what the Congress party is talking about. Prime Minister Modi's government does not deliver schemes to the poorest of the poor by saying who's Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Parsi, Jew. It sees this is a targeted beneficiary. This lady deserves a toilet. This person requires an urban home, a rural home. This person or family requires a tap connection. This family requires Ayushman Bharat. It doesn't matter whether this person or family is Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Parsi, Jew. Because that is exactly what Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas is. But the Congress says, no, no. What we are talking about, and which is what Dr. Manmohan Singh said, great leader, Prime Minister, but he said so in clear words. Muslims will have the first right. So what about tribals? What about Dalits? What about OBCs? What about SCs? MBCs? These are communities
but now
that
they're
are
trying to pull back a bit.
How can you say that on a religious line, we will divide the country? This is not done. Our constitution doesn't permit it.
Now what's
and
happening
this is
is
anything but amusing. And if the Prime Minister is raising it and the Congress party gets defensive about it, you can't run it off by saying it's amusing. If it's amusing, then go and basically, then you are reducing Rahul Gandhi's... Rahul Gandhi's...
it could well be... One minute.
Act and criticize
No, it could well be... No, 1 minute. No, 1 minute. Nalin, give me a moment before you come in. Lokesh, I just want to tell everyone tonight, do we want to give the benefit of doubt to this young man called Rahul Gandhi? Because very often he gets it wrong, he has a problem in communicating, and then, he goes with the superficialities as usual without understanding the more concrete points and ends up being a terrible embarrassment to people in his own party who end up apologizing and explaining on his behalf. Now, what is said here, Lokesh, what is said here is that what is being spoken about is this jitni abadi utni haq kind of argument, right? An alleged attempt to redistribute wealth according to your share in the population, right? Is that fair? To which an argument being put here is you cannot incentivize poverty. You have to incentivize personal growth and wealth creation, because without that, our system will come to a standstill. So I think it's important, therefore, Lokesh, for the Congress party to clarify, because first of all, you've got yourself in a flap with this 8,000 rupee internship scheme, which you're calling apprenticeship, and then you got yourself into a flap about this, extreme socialism. We'll redistribute wealth. There are too many middle class, upper middle class, and rich people, and we are going to redistribute wealth among everyone and create a utopian society. So, and then Rahul Gandhi goes and says something even more extreme in an election rally. What is this? How is this going to happen? I mean, if people own homes, will they be redistributed? If people own apartments, right, or cars, will you say that someone who has a scooter should take a car and snatch it from someone else? If there are a lot of people, very few people living in a large house, will you re-accommodate people according to the physical space that the Congress party feels every individual needs?
Arnab, as per
Yes.
the
How are you going to
directive
do it?
principle of the state policy, Article 38 of the Constitution directs the state to strive towards attainment of a welfare state model. It directs the state to minimize income inequalities, wealth inequalities. It aims at promoting justice, social, economic, and political. Sir, even prior to 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, this clause, Article 38, formed the very concept of welfare state in our constitution. I don't understand why are you linking it to only one instance. And secondly, when you are talking about the nature of development that we are witnessing right now, in 1962, we had 1% of India's riches controlling 22% of the overall resources, which has now increased to 40%.
Now, what
is
will
this?
you do to them? Will
This
you punish
income
people for
inequality
doing
is
well in
against
life?
the idea of economic
Will you
justice.
punish people for
And
doing
if
well,
at all-
getting good jobs, getting good qualifications?
Sir,
Will you punish
sir.
people for doing well? What is your intention?
No. The
What
policy
is
of
wait,
the
what is your
government
explain
of-
what you mean by affirmative action? No. I have my
When
I have
I
my
talk about the
suspicion.
present
Suppose
day
1 minute,
government,
Lokesh.
look at the
Lokesh,
way
give me a moment.
indirect
Just give me a
taxes
moment.
are on
Give me a
rise.
moment. I have to
And
ask
the
you
manner
this.
in which
I have to
direct
ask you
taxes
this.
have been
See, I want to
reducing.
live in a certain world. Lokesh, I'm a simple guy. I want some stability in my life. I want to have some certainty in my life. If I take a loan, I want to know at what percentage I'm taking a loan, at what percentage I'm paying an EMI. Can I prepay the loan? I want certainty in my life. I want the country to do well, and I want myself to do well. Now, just pause a minute. In a Congress-run world, what you're saying to me, the moment Congress will come to power or the Congress will lead a coalition government, you'll carry out this really tough socioeconomic and caste census, and then you'll get the data of caste, subcaste, jati, janjati, and socioeconomic conditions based on a fundamental premise of caste. You will bring everything down to caste. And then having brought everything down to caste, you will then come up with some very, very unpredictable model for affirmative action. Which means you will look at Kishore Subramaniam and say, this is the caste that he belongs to, this is the money that he has, this is his net wealth, and we'll come up with some algorithm on the basis of which, if Kishore Subramaniam, being from a specific caste, has a certain amount of income and wealth, then he is to be penalized for doing well in life.
No, Arnab, you've got the entire thing wrong.
You will take caste
We are
everywhere,
talking
including
about
into...
social mobility.
Let me come in here.
When we are talking about
Then why should
social
Kishore
mobility
Subramaniam
over
work
here-
at all? Why
No,
should he
listen,
not?
when
Why
we are
should he not
talking
live
about
on
social
Manrega?
mobility, caste over here becomes a social institution meant for identification of those who are marginalized and
But you can't
downtrodden.
do everything. You can't bring everything
When
down to
public
caste. This is
education,
2024.
public
Viksit
employment,
Bharat. You're
and
bringing
other
everything
forms
down
of
to a
means
fundamental
available.
line of caste. This
Please
is
have a glass
incredible.
of water.
Viewers, I don't
No,
think so.
listen.
I mean, this is no.
If
I
there
mean,
is a social
you are
mobility
living in
of
a
the
different world from me,
downtrodden, it's
Lokesh.
not
Please
going to
don't do
impact
this.
you adversely.
Please don't do this. Come on.
Arnab, let me come in here.
Nothing will
Arnab,
happen
let
to
me
you.
come in
What about
here.
adversely?
If at all
Lokesh?
the lower section of society mobilize themselves, get enough resources, realize the social mobility, nothing is going to go wrong with you. The idea is the state is required
And
to
will
act
will
for the
first
welfare
thing
of
I'll
the
demand.
masses, not
First
for
thing I'll
certain
demand.
few sections of
First thing I'll
society.
demand. No. 1 minute. I'll ask you one thing. First thing I will demand is that all of us, being honest taxpayers, will demand that, to set an example, Sonia Gandhi should move out of the house that I fund, 10 Janpat, out of my taxes.
Hello?
She should redistribute the land she lives on. She does not need to live in such a large mansion, paid for by the taxpayer. Whatever her security requirements, practice what you preach. Before you tell Kishore Subramaniam to give up his hard-earned wealth, Kishore, it's getting to be an uncertain world,
So,
with what the
Arnab,
Congress is
I hope
talking
the
about. Very, very
the
threatening.
opposition will give me enough time to speak and listen to my point. Extend me that courtesy. Point number one: if there is anything that needs to be
Louder,
redistributed
please. Yes,
to
of
the Congress party, it is intelligence. Let us redistribute intelligence first, because then we'll have parity to talk on same terms. Point number one. First of all, we need to understand that Congress, after 4 decades of its ruling, had bought with these same stupid policies India to naught. We came to a situation where we had to pledge our gold. We were bankrupt by 1991. Let's not forget. Giving a chance to Congress again. Look at the narrative. They want to take us back to the same point. And let me also counter one very, very important point. When the other gentleman said that Dr. Manmohan Singh, our ex-Prime Minister, did not mention Muslims, let me quote verbatim. He said, particularly Muslims, and I read here, they must have the first claim on the resources, the Muslim minority, that ensure that minorities, particularly Muslims, and particularly is a word to be noted here. No, it is not a generic statement. The third point we need to understand
That was Santosh Mehrotra you're responding to.
How is the Congress going to do that? This is no way you can have a financial survey.
I don't know, ask
and
them.
Let me ask you a tricky question here. Let us assume you find a rich man who is from a minority. What would you do? You would give it to the majority. You would give it to the other caste. So this is the most ridiculous thing that Congress can ever define. And let me understand, once you know you are not going to come to power, you are not going to win, you can actually do anything. I can also say that, okay, tomorrow morning I will start a channel and Republic, being a richer channel, should pay me. These are stupid logics. Let us not get into this debate. Arnab, I think the fundamental flaw with Congress is they do not know what narrative to place. Once their leader places a wrong narrative, the entire bogie and the coterie wants to justify that. As Mr. Nalin Kohli said, what about the tribals? What about the OBCs? What about so many other groups in the country? Let us not talk. Economics and Congress are oxymoron. They have no idea of how to run economics.
Sir, tell me one thing. What is the public outlay for education? What is the percentage of outlay for skill development? What is the percentage outlay for health sector? What is the outlay?
What has that got to do with redistribution of wealth?
Nothing.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me ask you a question.
What is the Gini coefficient of America?
About economics? Sir, when you're talking about human development, have we increased on the human development front or have we faltered down?
It is the highest in the
Sir,
world.
with respect to gross enrollment ratio, with respect to health expectancy ratio, with respect to all these parameters, we are sliding down. On what basis you are talking about human development and capacity building?
No, the presumption here.
Let me teach you some economics.
Presumption here.
Let me teach you some economics. When there is no economist theoretician can
if you
ever
are not aware of this, you can run the bullshit narrative saying that
resource allocation is going to be beneficial for economy. It is the greatest threat in the economy whenever there is a concentration of wealth in the hands of few, because it distorts the entire consumption pattern. The entire aggregate demand and the consumption pattern gets
No, I think you are. I mean, let's look at it.
Macroeconomic distortions happening.
One minute.
Do you know what is the saving rate?
I don't know. This will turn this kind of an
every other
extreme
household.
measure. And what is happening is Kapil. I'll bring Kapil and then I'll open it up. What is happening is, Kapil, there is a growing element of suspicion among the people about the extreme left line that the Congress party has started taking. Extreme left. Almost a pro-Maoist kind of approach.
Which has
Now,
failed the world
the
over.
fundamental premise is yeah. And if you are saying redistribute wealth, in India, a lot of people, Kapil, for example, middle class, lower middle class, invest in gold, small amounts of gold. They keep it away for a rainy day. Okay. Now, suppose there is someone who's not from the scheduled caste, not from the OBC, but a middle class man or woman who has invested and kept away at the end of 20, 30 years of savings a substantial amount of gold for their future generations or for themselves. Under the Congress party plan, that individual will be told to give up that gold and redistribute it, presumably, among people from scheduled castes or OBCs, regardless of how hard the person has worked over years and decades to save that gold. And this is the kind of logic that is being put by people like Siddharamaiah, who says taxing the rich for the poor is good economics. But do the rich or even the upper middle class not contribute, the salaried class, the greatest amount of taxes for our country? Are they not extremely compliant? Will you punish them now for being compliant? Are they paying less tax?
Can I now respond?
Do they need to be taxed more? You want tax rates to go up to 70%? Like you want reservations to go up to 80%? Maybe you want taxes to go up to 70%.
Then I
for
think
certain
I've
categories.
been patiently, hearing everyone.
No,
and
I'm
allow
done
me
at
to
this
make-
point because this is getting to be a very scary and draconian scenario.
Now, Arnab, let me say it, very clearly. It is when you think from an empty mind, you have, this kind of a narration and a conclusion, which is, beyond absurd, from all measures. When they say there would be a socio-economic survey and, there would be a distribution of income, they don't mean that they will take income from you, assets from you, and they will give it to some other people. So when any politician make this kind of a statement, what he's trying
Where
to...
is that clarification?
So may I, Mr. Kohli, I didn't
Where
interrupt
is that
you.
clarification?
Then
Mr.
clarify.
Mr. Kohli, I know you.
Of course,
I know
but where
you're
is
being
that
exposed. So please be patient. Let me expose you fully, and then you can respond. Let me expose you fully, and then
Where
you'll
is the
respond. I'll
clarification?
expose both of you.
No,
I'll expose both-
Kishore, let it be
Now,
between
I
Kapil and
think
Nalin.
it's not absurd. I think
Let
it's
it be between
beyond
Kapil and
absurd
Nalin.
from all measure. Thinking only an
What is
empty
this
thinking
expose?
mind can draw this kind of a conclusion, wherein you say that a person makes a statement that there would be a socio-economic survey. That would mean that someone will come to your house, will take away your assets, you will take away gold, and they will give it to some other people who are more needy, more poor. I mean, this is absurd.
Then say
beyond
so.
all measure.
That's a wrong
And
statement.
Let me, Mr. Kohli, please be patient. Please be patient. You're being exposed. I know that, but please be patient. You will get your turn. Now, my second point is, when the government forms any kind of scheme, there is Ayush Bharat, which government talks about. What is the qualification and criteria for Ayush Bharat?
Ayushman
scheme?
Bharat.
There is, yes, Ayushman Bharat. Correct. Thank you for correcting.
Ayushman
What is- so,
Bharat.
Mr. Kohli,
Ayushman
please
Bharat.
also,
That's the
please
scheme.
also tell your viewers what is the criteria to get that benefit scheme. How is one eligible? You please explain. I can bet you will not know, and I can
I'll
assure
answer
you
that,
that you don't
Mr.
know the
Goswami.
eligibility. You don't know the eligibility. It is on the basis of the income that you declare, and there is a threshold. How do you come to that? Any policy made by the government is based on parameters. There are certain eligibility criteria. They say that they are giving 80 crores people free ration. How do they calculate? It is only 80 crore people will need ration, not 90 crore people. What is the eligibility criteria? There must be some parameters on the basis of which a policy is formed and a decision is taken, which is for the benefit of people who need government subsidy.
Please explain to me,
needs
Kapil, you are
government
getting
help and
confused.
support.
Kapil,
So that's-
Kapil, I
no,
got
I'm
a
sorry.
simple question here.
I-
As long as what
Come in,
you're doing,
Mr. Goswami.
one second.
I'm bringing clarity to
One second. Kapil, highly confusing. Highly confusing. I 1 minute. Highly confusing.
It brings
I've been
clarity.
Nalin with
It
Dr.
brings
Santosh
clarity.
Mehrotra. Let's go for some one versus ones tonight. I couldn't
I would
care
like
less
to.
as long
I'd
as
like
it
to
doesn't affect most people, right?
this is-
But what I will not allow is this attempted demonization of corporate India, these shallow comments that some people are earning a lot, some companies are earning a lot, some people are earning less. This is reality world over. Always it has happened, it will happen.
They're earning out of their hard
We
work.
all know how many people from
They're not
these
doing a
corporate
favor to
families
Mr. Rahul Gandhi
were
or the
put in the
Congress
Rajya
party.
Sabha by the Congress
Somebody
party.
works hard.
We
What
know,
is Mr. Rahul
which know-
Gandhi's
we know,
profession?
we know,
What has
we,
he worked
we
and
know,
earned?
We know how much.
Has he ever done a
Yeah.
job 9
So-
to 5? Has he stood in court from morning to night as any one of us, or a doctor or an engineer or someone? What has Mr. Rahul Gandhi done that he sits down here and becomes a great economist to say redistribute wealth? And then say I will distribute it to a certain community or religion first. And then this is called about exposing me. What is this about? Where is the clarification of the Congress party? Please tell me. Where is the clarification said no? We are not going to snatch the money from somebody who's affluent and give it to the poor, like the socialists used to do, like the communists used to do, and which has been discarded by those very countries. Where is that clarification? Are you going to say that old people who have money in
Mr.
their
Kohli,
FDs and getting 8% or 9%, living off that interest, you will take it out of the bank accounts and give it? Where is the clarification of the Congress party saying we will not do it? Have you said it? A
No,
man who works from IIT, slogs through his life, through IIM, becomes a CEO of a company, then earns money after 30 years of hard work. You're going to take that money away from him and distribute it. Why? Why? Because Mr. Rahul Gandhi, has he ever worked? Tell me his job that he has done. Even his father was a pilot. His father knew he had to get up in the morning. His father knew he had to sit in a flight. His father knew that he would get a salary at the end of the month. How can you run down the whole professional world? How can you run down the business world, the corporate world? And how can you tell the poor of India that you are not fit enough to receive something that Prime Minister...
इनकी ये हालत का कारण है साधारण ऑटो ऐप। इन्हें चाहिए गारंटीड ऑटो, मतलब रैपिडो ऑटो। 5 मिनट में मिलेगा, वरना 50 रुपए आपके। 5 नहीं तो 50, 5 नहीं तो 50।
Mr. Kohli, I can see you're very worked up about it, but we got a very sharp issue to deal with out here. And Mr. Mehrotra, Dr. Mehrotra has been smiling throughout what you said. But I'm concerned because I think what Dr. Mehrotra, Nalin Kohli and most people will want for is a clarification. Many people say, of course, you're getting too worked up about it. Congress is not going to win the election. But at the end of the day, we have to look at every word that they have promised, which they have said. Now, it is my contention, Dr. Mehrotra, that the Congress party cannot leave these issues in generalizations. They are linking a caste census to a potential redistribution of wealth and going on and saying that they will immediately address this inequality of wealth and income through suitable changes in policies. As a voter, I want to know what are these suitable changes in policies. I want certainty in my life. We all want certainty in our lives. You also want certainty in your life. We can't be put at risk. We don't know what these policies are. After all, Dr. Mehrotra, India is now rising through wealth creation, through unicorns. People are making money, they're enjoying making money, they're taking risks, entrepreneurship is a climate, there's a risk appetite that is growing, and these things can be bugbears in that process. So why bring in these issues at all and not let things go the way they are going? And also your response to Nalin Kohli's concerns. Dr. Mehrotra.
Very simple, Mr. Goswami, very, very simple. I was in the Planning Commission when the Socioeconomic caste census was designed. I was actually a member of the drafting committee for the design of the Socioeconomic caste census. And the caste census, all it does is to exclude people who will not receive the rations. It excludes people who will not be entitled to a Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. It excludes people who will not be entitled to a Ayushman Bharat, etc., etc. Why is this government for the last 10 years been using the same SECC? And all that the Congress manifesto, as far as I can make out, is saying is that they will repeat an SECC because an SECC was done 10 years ago and it was done precisely with the objective of identifying those who will be eligible and those who will be automatically excluded. It's very straightforward. Maybe someone can answer in this show for me and explain to me if the government of India is so opposed to a SECC, why is it still using the same SECC? It is using it for doing precisely what I'm talking about, for precisely identifying the beneficiaries. So I don't see where the talk about redistribution comes in. There is no talk about redistribution in the Congress manifesto. I mean, this is all complete humbug. This is
suitable changes in policies, page 21, page 29, para 21. What are the suitable changes in policies which are being thought about?
No, they are not being thought
what are the
about.
suitable changes in
of the
policies
team that wrote the manifesto,
which are being spoken about? We want a clarification on that.
You're very dismissive of the apprenticeship scheme. I want to tell you now that I didn't tell you in the last show that I appeared, I'm behind that apprenticeship scheme because it is a scheme that can work. It has shown to work in Germany, in Switzerland, and we already have a 1961 Apprenticeship Act, sir. It is not meant for the children of Mr. Arnab Goswami or Mr. Nalin Goswami.
Yeah, but let me tell you why I disagree with it.
Mehrotra.
Let me tell you why I disagree with it.
Yeah,
Let
you
me
may
tell you why I
disagree,
disagree
but
with
it doesn't matter. That's not the subject.
Can I tell you why I
There is no
disagree with it?
redistribution talked about by anyone.
Because it's below the minimum wage. Because it's below the minimum wage.
Excuse me, sir.
And I'm
this
sure
is
you
an
know that India's
training
corporates can
program.
pay more than
Excuse
8,000
me,
rupees
sir,
a month to a
you
qualified
obviously have not
person.
understood. That means you haven't read the program. It is a apprenticeship, means that it is not supposed to be a wage. Do you see the difference between a wage and a stipend? It is supposed to be a stipend. The Apprenticeship Act of 1961 talks about
of course
a stipend.
No, but why
It's
not
a
offer
wage,
jobs?
sir.
Why not offer entry-level jobs instead of 8,000
Oh,
rupee
please
apprenticeships?
do that. Why is the open unemployment rate 44% for 20 to 24-year-olds currently? Please tell me that. Please give me an answer for that. If you had an answer for that, then you would also think about proper schemes like the apprenticeship. In fact, I have heard from insiders from within the party, the BJP, that they have actually bought into the idea if they came back to power. You may not buy the idea.
Who told you that?
May I come in for a minute, Mr. Goswami?
Who told you that, sir? Can you name your source?
I'm not going to reveal that. Obviously, it means you should know that you shouldn't be asking such questions on a show, a national show.
No, I'm not. But I'm just saying here. I'm just saying here that obviously we have different worldviews. I'll get Nalin to respond to you. I'm not in a debate with you. But all I will say to you, sir, today we must also say this demonization that is happening. TCS has paid 14,600 crores of taxes. Reliance has paid 20,700 crores of taxes. Axis Bank has paid 7,700 crores of taxes. Unicorns and startups are at the core of this country's economic ecosystem right now. And it is all based on wealth creation. Now you tell me, sir, does a startup founder from a so-called upper caste have less right over his hard-earned wealth than a startup founder from a scheduled caste or an OBC? I'm saying there are some areas of life where caste should not be brought in.
This is your presumption. You're putting words into the mouth of the Congress manifesto people. This is your presumption.
May I come in?
This is not anywhere written anywhere in the manifesto. You may fly with whatever you want to fly. We know what you're trying to do. You're trying to sort of appease the bhakt and motivate them and rile them up.
No, I'm clearly asking here what is you need to. No, I'm saying you may say, okay, I played a role. I don't need to explain to you. All I'm saying is you have to explain. You can't leave a half sentence. You can't say suitable changes in policies. In some way we'll redistribute wealth. There has to be more specificity than that.
You are making a claim. There's no talk about redistribution.
I'm not making a claim. It's in the manifesto.
There is no talk about redistribution of wealth.
We will address the growing inequality of wealth and income through suitable changes in policies preceded by the reference to a nationwide socioeconomic and caste census. And then based on this data, we will strengthen the agenda for affirmative action. And then followed by addressing the growing inequality through suitable changes in policy.
I've understood. Let me explain. There's something called that the economy grows and you enable the relatively poorer off to have a higher share. That's called inclusive growth. It doesn't mean that existing wealth has to be transferred.
Okay.
We are already an extremely unequal country. We have become one of the most unequal countries in terms of wealth as well as income.
Responding.
In the last 10 years.
Responding to you. Nalin is responding. Nalin.
I heard Dr. Mehrotra very carefully. In the first part of what Dr. Mehrotra was very kindly sharing information for all of us and the viewers, is that you, based on the caste census, he was saying that this is about targeting those who deserve, like Ayushman Bharat or homes or whatever. But that's exactly what Prime Minister Modi's government is doing, giving the benefits to beneficiaries who deserve. without saying that the beneficiary has to be a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a Parsi or a Buddhist Jew. The Congress party takes this to the level, which I think is violative of Article 14, by saying, no, we'll make it special for the Muslims. Why not special then for the Dalits or the SCs or the STs? Or rather, why not special for all poor? 1 minute, let me finish my point, Dr. Mehrotra. Don't get agitated. So why not say it as specifically as that? We stand to ensure that the poor receive welfare measures from the government, because the government must do what it can as a welfare state, which is what Prime Minister Modi's government is doing, which is what Congress governments before that tried to do. But obviously something was not working. That's why they are rejected out. Now the next point. Dr. Mehrotra says, this is not what is meant. But he's not the one who's written the manifesto. Who should give a clarification that Mr. Goswami, you are wrong. Nalin Kohli is wrong, X is wrong, Y is wrong.
Close.
We do not plan to take the money of a professional, a wealthy man, a hard-working doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, an anchor, anyone, a professor. We will not take their money and give it to the poor. Has the Congress party come out? Redistribution of wealth, as an average Indian, any one of us can understand, is take money from Peter to pay Paul. So therefore, the Congress party would do well to come out and say, no, all of you are wrong. We are not doing this. What we refer to is giving schemes to the poor people, as our government's doing or Prime Minister Modi's government is doing. So, I mean, have they said so? They haven't said so. Now let's come to the next. Then we go ahead and have then, at this point, approximately, Dr. Mehrotra got agitated and then went into a debate with you. So be it. He's entitled to. But then, Dr. Mehrotra would do well, and that's my suggestion, he can reject it, by saying the Congress party should clarify that redistribution of wealth does not mean taking money from X and giving it to Y. It means what I'm saying, which is what Dr. Mehrotra says, having served in the government, having been in the planning commission,
maybe a clarification is in order. That's all. A clarification will not hurt. At least at a time when people are going to the vote, I think a clarification is not too much to ask for. We had a good debate, ladies and gentlemen. I thank everyone. Pretty volatile one there. And on the other side, we have Madhavi Lata. Now, she's the person taking on Owaisi, very, very controversial, high profile. BJP candidate has an FIR against her and is making the headlines every second day. Madhavi Lata on one-on-one in an election exclusive when I'm back.
Co-powered by Simpolo Tiles and Bathware.
In the India Today Best Universities 2023 survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth. Over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the third largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
The Lok Sabha constituency goes of Kota to the polls in the second phase on April 26. The battle for educational hub is going to see a contest between BJP's Om Birla and Congress's Prahlad Gunjal. Kota has been seen as a BJP stronghold, with Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, the sitting MP in 2019. Om Birla won 58.49 votes for the BJP, defeating Congress candidate Ram Narayan Meena, securing 38.07% votes.
सदन चलाने की जिम्मेदारी भी यहाँ की जनता के आशीर्वाद से दी और मैंने कोशिश की कि जनता के आशीर्वाद से जो मुझे जिम्मेदारी मिली है और संसदीय कार्य के लिए संसद सदस्यों ने मुझे जिम्मेदारी, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने मुझे आशीर्वाद दिया। मैंने संसद के कामकाज में लोकतंत्र की मर्यादा प्रतिष्ठा को कायम की। देश की जनता जानती है कि मोदी जी के हाथ में देश सुरक्षित है, इसलिए जन जन देश में मोदी जी को मतदान करना चाहता है।
Meanwhile, facing the sitting Lok Sabha speaker is BJP rebel and former North Kota MLA Prahlad Gunjal, hailing from the Gujjar community. Interestingly, Rahul Gandhi's yatra passed through Kota about 6 months ago, and it was alleged that there were more outsiders in the rally and villagers didn't get a chance to speak to the leaders.
आपको एक खास चीज बता देता हूं कि राहुल गांधी ने यहां से भारत जोड़ो यात्रा भी जो है वो शुरू की थी, लेकिन उसका इम्पैक्ट कितना हुआ, उसका असर कितना हुआ, वो जानने की कोशिश करेंगे। शायद आसपास के इलाके से ही गुजरी थी, इसी गांव के आसपास से जी मंडना, मतलब इसी गांव से होकर के गुजरी थी राहुल गांधी की यात्रा। उसका असर कितना है इस किसान परिवारों पे? असर है?
नहीं, कोई असर नहीं किसान परिवारों पे।
कांग्रेस पार्टी को मिर्ची लगी। मोदी जी ने उनके घोषणा पत्र में से सबकी संपत्ति का सर्वे करने का कहा है। मोदी जी ने कल कहा क्यों करना है इस सर्वे को? कांग्रेस पार्टी पूरी नरेंद्र मोदी पर सवाल उठा रही है। मैं आज कांग्रेस पार्टी को पूछना चाहता हूं, आपके घोषणा पत्र में सर्वे की बात है या नहीं है?
Co-powered by Simpolo Tiles and Bathware.
In the India Today Best Universities 2023 survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth, over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the third largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal digital yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
There is no end to the bad blood between Bihar CM Nitish Kumar and former CM Lalu Yadav. The latest in the political slugfest is the Bihar Chief Minister taking a swipe at RJD President Lalu Prasad for promoting his sons and daughters in politics. Although Nitish did not take anyone's name, his remarks seemed to target Lalu's political family, which includes his wife and former Bihar CM Rabri Devi and his sons.
लेकिन आजकल जब क्लेम करते हैं, हट गए तब बीवी को बना दिया, अब आजकल बाल बच्चा को, अब पैदा तो बहुत कर दिया, इतना ज्यादा पैदा करना चाहिए किसी को, बाल बच्चा, लेकिन उतना किया, और उसी में कई बेटी को, दुगो बेटा को, सबको लगा करके।
The rift between Lalu and Nitish has only heated up after the latter left RJD ahead of the LS polls. Former Deputy CM of Bihar and Lalu's son Tejashwi Yadav hit back at Nitish.
अधिकार है, कुछ भी आप हमको कह सकते हैं, जो मन करे वो कहे, अब वो जो भी कहेंगे मेरे लिए आशीर्वचन होगा।
बिट्टू, तेरे पापा संन्यास ले रहे हैं।
सब माया है। इससे भी बड़ी खबर सुनो, रैपिडो पे लोएस्ट प्राइस कैप गारंटी, वरना डबल पैसे आपके गारंटी।
डबल गारंटी? गारंटी पे गारंटी, लोएस्ट प्राइस गारंटी।
तेरा शीश नहीं झुकने दूंगा। ये नया भारत घर में घुसकर मारता है। आपको लगता होगा इतना सारा काम मोदी कर रहा है तो ये मोदी थकता क्यों नहीं है? भ्रष्टाचारी कान खोल करके सुन ले, ये मोदी नहीं आया, 140 करोड़ देशवासियों का भ्रष्टाचारियों के प्रति गुस्सा निकल करके आया है। साथियों, ये मोदी से इसलिए नाराज है क्योंकि मोदी आज देश के गांव गरीब के साथ चट्टान की तरह खड़ा है। सौगंध मुझे इस मिट्टी की, मैं देश नहीं मिटने दूंगा, मैं देश नहीं रुकने दूंगा, मैं देश नहीं झुकने दूंगा। मेरा वचन है भारत मां को, तेरा शीश नहीं झुकने दूंगा। ये नया भारत घर में घुसकर मारता है।
From the Delhi studios of Republic TV, it's time for the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 10, powered by Reva University, Quick Heal Secrite, Policy Bazaar, Kuchina.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Time now for the nation's sharpest opinion. We are heading to the second phase of the general election on Friday. And as we are heading into it, polarization, politics, appeasement is becoming a subtle trend. And before I go to Madhavi Lata today, who is now increasingly high-profile, sometimes controversial BJP candidate from Hyderabad for the Lok Sabha, taking on Owaisi, there is a story that brought Indians together in their demand for justice. Ladies and gentlemen, but what the politicians must realize is that despite an election going on, there is a country that continues to be governed. And that is why when I see the heart-wrenching case, and I'm going to talk about this later into the debate of Neha Hiremat. We'll go to Madhavi Lata later so we can change the top band on that. When I see the case which we are speaking about right now, so we'll go to the visuals later of Madhavi Lata. I think the appropriate visuals should also be playing there, otherwise it'll be misunderstood, producers. The case of Neha Hiremat is what I'll be looking at a little later on the show today. She's the daughter of a Congress councillor in Karnataka, stabbed to death, and her father saying that he's suspecting love jihad. In this case, I believe it is the moral duty of those in power to stand by and rally together to ensure all angles, including the love jihad angle, are under probe. And I believe that no chief minister, including Mr. Siddaramaiah, has the right to leap in and say that it's a fallout of personal reasons. A government cannot be in knee-jerk mode to an act of lawlessness. We cannot deny or taint or sacrifice unfiltered justice because the perpetrator is from a particular community and the victim is from another. The names of a perpetrator and a victim cannot decide which political narrative is fixated around it, because that's what I call denial of justice. If you see what's happening in Karnataka, the Congress government's response to the attack on a shop owner for playing the Hanuman Chalisa, if you see the reaction to the Pakistan Zindabad Rao by the same Congress government, and if you see their response to the Rameshwaram cafe blast, and if you see their response to the brutal murder of Neha, one thing stands consistent in Karnataka, that the Congress party's immediate response is to play things down if they feel it will affect one of their vote bank, or dismiss it as some sort of personal dispute or Lone Ranger type of argument. Viewers, that's why the Neha Hiremat case is my focus in debate number 3 this evening. Now let me go across to Madhavi Lata. Starting today, I will be looking at a few controversial candidates. As part of my election focus, the BJP's Hyderabad candidate, K. Madhavi Lata, has now been booked for hurting the sentiments of the Muslim community. This comes after she gestured to shoot an arrow towards a place of worship during the Ram Navami procession on the 17th of April. The video was widely circulated on social media last week, which the BJP claims is an incomplete video. Madhavi Lata's contender and AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi has alleged that the gesture was made in front of a mosque, and she therefore was trying to show that she will shoot arrows towards a mosque. And on that and many other issues, I'm joined by Madhavi Lata herself. Thank you for joining us. It's a really heated campaign, and I can see some great door-to-door campaigning that you are doing, Madhavi Lata ji. It's good to speak to you. And I've been watching how you've been making the headlines with your active campaigning, with your style, your controversies. But you seem to be attracting almost one controversy a day. Why is that? Why do you think you're attracting so much attention, positive and negative, both?
That's a very nice question, though. Positive is because there's a lot of energy and truth and injustice that had happened all these years in the constituency is being told to the voters, enlightening them what is actual reality at the ground level. Now, controversy is because when the truth comes out, it definitely hurts and pinches people who have been winning all these years this seat on false statements and on false grounds. It's but for inevitable for them to feel the way they were feeling. I think it's like till now nobody has come to really open up their the book which has so many accounts of deeds that they have done and which are very much not in favor of public and their development.
I see that video there. You had a video, I just playing it there. It's a 10-second video. You're standing, campaigning. Can I play that video, please, Aditi? This is not the video. Let's play the right one, please. The one we were playing earlier. Now, in that video, you are seen dressed in saffron, pretending, can I play it full frame, pretending to shoot an arrow from a quiver, which you say is an imaginary arrow from an imaginary quiver, and then you're firing that imaginary weapon from your imaginary quiver towards the direction of a mosque. What were you trying to indicate there? I mean, please don't tell me that was not understood to you, that what you were trying to indicate towards your core constituency.
I am not here to say something which I don't believe in or which I do. I am not somebody who talks something that's not right. If you can just go back to that video, we all have to know that anywhere in the frame, do you see a mosque? If you go to the multiple angles of that same video, how many ever are possible you can get from the market today through social media, none of the angles ever you will find mosque there. In a particular one video where you find mosque is just because the entire mobile phone has been panned towards the mosque after the act. Otherwise, you do not find a mosque anywhere in the single frame, me and the mosque together. Now, if you want to pan a camera,
was there a mosque in the direction that you were pointing at? Was there a mosque in the direction you were pointing at? जिस तरफ आप अपना वो
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like your camera is pointing me.
उस direction में is there a mosque anywhere in that
right
direction?
Now your camera is pointing me. Absolutely not. There is a lane. There is an open lane. And that too, my arrow was, if you can just stand in the place I am, the arrow was almost into the sky. The arrow was almost into the sky. Not into an angle anywhere that you can just catch a monument or catch in a building. And Ram Ban there means a barn of prosperity. I'll give you one more incident. During Ramzan, I went to participate in Hazrat Ali Ji's Julus. I put a garland there. Now, if I can do that, why would I want to come and put a Ramban on a masjid? People should be insane. Even try to make kind of conclusion like that, because the whole event was celebrating Sri Ram Navami. Agar aap patake jala rahe ho, if you're trying to burn a cracker on occasion of Diwali, you can't be saying that you're trying to burn something, right? It was a happy moment. It's like beyond somebody's even understanding how somebody can interpret it.
Is Owaisi trying to position himself opposite you? Is Asaduddin, why is Asaduddin Owaisi so interested in fighting only you? He is not looking at any other candidate. He has only one target. That is you. At least in public perception, it looks like that. Is it like that? Is it like that? He seems to refer to you at least 10 times a day. Why is that? He said here that on Madhavi Lata, he says, that imaginary arrow was not pointed at any mosque. That imaginary arrow of Madhavi Lata was pointed against the peace and tranquility of Hyderabad. It shows that the BJP is intent on destroying the peace of Hyderabad. He's giving you a lot of publicity. He has also said it was done to weaken the peace among Hindus and Muslims in Hyderabad. And he has gone on to say that if you feel even a little bit of pain, you should vote not for the sake of the party, but for that ibadatgah, for the prayer house. So he is wherever he is going, he is saying that you are pointing the arrow towards the mosque. He's not letting go of this.
Unfortunately, Asaduddin has lost any good statement to utter as part of his campaigning. He is probably the only person who has no manifesto. Kuch manifesto hai to. If he would have had any manifesto, he would have spoken like, we'll do this good things, we'll do that good things. He's a one soul guy. Unfortunately, a best parliamentarian awarded who has no manifesto. Now, the only manifesto you can have a tir or a baan, which never existed and which never went towards a masjid. He himself, in 40 years, landed up old city to so much of backwardness that I would say, when something is not developed, it at least becomes a stagnant. Unfortunately, it is not even stagnant. Hyderabad Lok Sabha Parliament has moved back. It has moved back in such a sheer backwardness. Now he has nothing else to talk about. That is what I am saying. Other than eat beef, kato beef, Madhavi Lata ka tir, does he have anything else to talk? I am surprised. This is how a barrister talks. That's it. This is his knowledge. This is it he wants to give the constituency. And both he talks provoking Muslims. So according to him, the 40% or 50% that they claim Hindus are, doesn't make any sense for him, are of no value for him. And he is like one more Razakar. He's showing up his character. He's showing up what he is. That is what the Razakars wanted then. That only it will become a Muslim state.
Does he have the entire Muslim?
That is what he is also landing up doing this constituency.
Does he not have the support of the entire? Does he not have the support of the entire Muslim community in Hyderabad? Does he not? I saw you campaigning.
No, he doesn't.
Videos of your campaigning. I saw you going among the Muslim community.
No, he doesn't.
Do you have any support among the Muslim community?
I'll tell you why he doesn't. Are you asking, do I have support?
Both.
Arnabji,
I'm asking you whether he
have
has
support
or doesn't.
I
have two questions. My first question is that Hyderabad family bastion almost of Asaduddin Owaisi, Akbaruddin Owaisi, stronghold, unbeatable, unbroken, vanquishable by anyone. Madhavi Lata gets a lot of prominence, is being talked about, but then she cannot break into Owaisi's stronghold. She may give him a tough fight, but she can't defeat him because he's got the entire Muslim community backing him. So he's going to position you as anti-Muslim to polarize even more of the Muslim vote around himself. That's his clear strategy. So I want your response to that first before I go to my next.
He has no support of entire Muslims with him, for which I can give you a very small glimpse example. This is siyasat.com, a news agency where you can see that Telangana 75% of Waqf property under encroachment. And this is the Hajj building, which is also the Waqf board office. 75% of the Waqf board properties have been encroached. And to the greater extent, you will be surprised, Telangana State Waqf Board declares here that the total acreages only in Telangana, I'm not talking about Andhra and Telangana together, is 77,538 acres of Waqf Board land is there. This is the circle. And out of which 57,423 acres of Waqf Board property is under encroachment, where the land has been given to private builders and these people have made their money out of it. Every Muslim is aware of this. Every Muslim is aware of this. The property eaten away by these people. No Muslim is happy there. That is the reason, because I am pulling out these truths. He has only two statements to talk, to just provoke the young youth who are uneducated and who have no clue what they are doing. Two things: eat beef काटो, माधवी लता का तीर. इस दो के अलावा उनके पास कुछ भी सच्चाई नहीं है. And people
but you have also said
know
that he has got connections with ISIS. Why don't you prove it? Why don't you prove it? You're also making very grandiose statements. You've said that look at Asaduddin Owaisi's friendship with people from the Islamic State. Now that's a very serious charge. You're accusing a member of parliament of connections with a terrorist group. It's quite direct. You have not left anything to the imagination.
There is nothing
what's the
that
proof you have of that?
There is nothing that outward. There is nothing that I am trying to say this. The basic contention itself is this way, that it is a very open statement of in a newspaper. Excuse me. In a statement in a newspaper, very clearly,
carry on.
And it was even told by the government here also at the then, when he has extended legal support and sympathy for the ISIS agents who have been caught. Now I would only ask, as a public representative and as a parliamentarian, does it anywhere make a person glorified? And does it talk about his wisdom if he is trying to extend legal help to ISIS agent? While the same person doesn't extend any kind of legal help to those small little girls, Muslim Pasmanda girls, who are being trapped or getting married by Arabs, by very old Muslim men, and have been taken away in a form of trafficking. Now, what kind of a representative he is? What kind of an MP he is? Now, how do somebody has to conclude about such parliamentarian? Government of India knows its rules. If he has to give a legal support, as per international standards, it knows to give. But you as a parliamentarian who doesn't talk about the atrocities of your own parliamentary people, about the education, health, work board properties, I'll talk about only the Muslim community. You do not want to stand up for the women. You oppose 33.3 reservation where women wants to come forward. You oppose UCC, but you want to talk about the justice and want to talk about the legal help to be extended to ISIS person. Now, I think as a common man, this is something I cannot understand. That too by a parliamentarian.
Madhavi Lata, if it was in terms of social media attraction, and my last point here is viewers, very interesting candidate, very vocal, very aggressive, but can she really beat Asaduddin Owaisi on the ground? And my last question to you is, Madhavi ji, that even people who say that you are fighting very hard say she's going to fight hard, but given the demography of Hyderabad, given the Muslim population of Hyderabad, it's a mountain she can't climb. She'll try to climb it, but she won't reach the top. Because unless she has the support of some segment of the Muslim community, and at least a small but substantial segment of the Muslim community, victory is beyond possibility for her. So, straight question in the context of she can get the attention, she'll be spoken about across the country, but can she really beat Asaduddin Owaisi in Hyderabad?
Arnab ji, I would only want to tell about this in 3 statements. Number 1, when a woman has climbed Mount Everest, before she could climb, everybody thought she cannot. But once she climbed Mount Everest, people had to shut their mouth. My second statement, he could never be a friend to his own community people. He could never bring up these Pasmandas. He never had sympathy for them. He never encouraged women. Even in a constituency, UP, where Yogi Adityanath ji hai, there also Muslims were given Pasmandas 2 ministries. Wherein, in his own constituency, he doesn't give Pasmandas seats. He doesn't encourage women. People are frustrated with him. Yes, they may find it difficult to come out and tell because they are scared whether they live even till the date of voting. But Arnab ji, let me tell you, it is not that every day is a person's day. There will be a day when every person like him has to realize that we cannot win through wrong ways and means. Now this year, it's going to be the most interesting and a crucial year because we're going to win and show you. And for all you want, All India Pasmanda Muslim Mahaz has come to me today to show its extension of a friendly hand and saying that they would love to work with me because they find me as their future and their development unbiased. And this is which will tell you that Pasmandas and every that Muslim who has been affected by Asaduddin are with me. Arnab ji, we are going to win this seat and we are going to show that abki baar Hyderabad और Hyderabad से हम 400 पार करा के रहेंगे. And it is possible.
I must say yes. So much. There's a lot of social media online support for you, Madhavi ji. First time we are talking. I quite admire the way in which you're leading the campaign. You're going into minority areas. You even quote various Hindu texts. You're very knowledgeable. I must appreciate that. Asaduddin, I have known him for some time. But at some level, he has a problem with me, Madhavi ji. He will come with any other anchor on Republic, but he will not come one-on-one with me. But if he comes, would you like to come on a debate with him? Because this Hyderabad contest is being followed across the country. Should I send him an invitation that if he agrees that you will debate him on the Republic network?
Definitely, Arnab ji. It's a privilege first to be in your program. And I would say it's an honor that I'm in your interview today. He doesn't want to come to your interview because he also knows that you are one such bombarding interviewer who only wants truth to prevail.
But if he agrees on the interview, I'll tell you, I'll take the flight, I'll come to Hyderabad, and it would be wonderful to do that, and I'll send in the letter today itself. Madhavi ji, I wish you best of luck, and I thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you so much, Madhavi ji. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Madhavi Lata. And I think we should send that interview request to Asaduddin Owaisi and see if he comes face to face with her. Moving on, 5 days after 23-year-old Neha Hiremat was brutally stabbed to death, statewide protests in Karnataka have erupted, demanding #Justice for Neha. The victim happens to be the daughter of a Congress corporator who claims himself that the Karnataka government is not giving a free hand to the policemen to probe the investigation. He's going to be joining me tonight. In fact, he has demanded for a CBI investigation. And the real question today is whether the Congress government on the eve of the elections is downplaying the love jihad angle into the Neha Hiremat murder case. Let's debate.
The anger over gruesome murder of Neha has spilled on the streets. 5 days after the shocker, statewide protests have erupted across Karnataka, with students joining the March for Justice. Hubali, Dharwad, Kalaburgi, Chamrajanagar, Davangere. Everywhere, everyone has just one thing to say. Republic spoke to Neha's father, who happens to be a Congress corporator. He alleged that Siddaramaiah government has not been giving a free hand to the state police in the case.
अभी मैंने 3 आदमी हुबली का नाम दिया है. उसका पिताजी अभी बाइट दे रहे हैं. अभी उसका पिताजी भी उसने बोला है कि बहुत दिन से मैं जानता था नेहा को. कैसा जानता है वो? कैसा जानता है? एक स्टूडेंट को, चलो उसका बेटे का फ्रेंड है, वो पहचाने, ठीक है, उसको बात करने का क्या रिलेशन है?
The Congress government has been adamant on a CID probe.
We don't mind, let them hand over, let them do whatever they want. They are not eligible. Karnataka government will deal it with its own way. There is no question of it.
The BJP, meanwhile, has questioned the law and order situation in the state.
It is a very sad state of affairs in Karnataka that the law and order situation has completely collapsed under Congress. And when the daughter of a Congress leader is not safe in Karnataka, imagine the plight of the ordinary women in Karnataka. And instead of standing with the family of Neha Hiremat, Congress party is putting vote bank Suraksha above Mahila Suraksha. Today, even the father of the victim, Neha Hiremat's father, who is a Congress leader, is saying that he has no faith in the state government.
Is Siddaramaiah government downplaying the murder? Let's debate.
Before I go into the debate this evening, viewers, I welcome Sanju Verma, Rashmi Samant, Brinda Adigate, Abdul Razak Khan and Syed Aslam. I would like to go across first to Niranjan Hiremat and Geeta Hiremat, parents of Neha Hiremat. First of all, my deepest condolences. Niranjan ji and Geeta ji, what is your demand right now, and what is the reality of this case? In this case, what has led to your daughter's killing? What do you know, Niranjan ji and Geeta ji?
Pardon, madam, sir, Hindi, please.
हाँ, मैं ये पूछ रहा हूँ आपको निरंजन जी कि सच्चाई इस केस में क्या है, ये जो किलिंग हुई है इसके पीछे कारण क्या है और वजह क्या है?
ये किलिंग होने का जो कारण हमने जनरली इंफॉर्मेशन के ऊपर हम बता रहे हैं। हम वो कॉलेज में जो जिस तरह ये घटनाएं हो रही है उसके बाद जो हमारे को रिपोर्ट मिली है वो मैं उनको बता रहा हूँ। मैं पेरेंट होके मैं रिपोर्ट लेना हमारा काम है, और मैं भी एक कांग्रेस का नेता है, निगम पार्षद है। फर्स्ट रिपोर्ट लिया मैंने, तो रिपोर्ट लेने के बाद जो जो इसमें हाथ है मैंने सबके ऊपर कंप्लेंट किया, मीडिया के थ्रू भी किया और मैं ओरली भी इनको भी बताया, पुलिस प्रशासन को। तो उन्होंने कार्रवाई करने के लिए मेरे को विश्वास है, पोस्टमार्टम का कंप्लेंट कॉपी, आई विटनेस जो भी है सारा कुछ करके दिया है। तो ये ऐसा हो के घटना हुई है कि कॉलेज में जो लड़के लोग का ऐसी घटनाएं होती है तो कुछ ना कुछ वजह रहता है, कोई ना कोई पीछे हाथ रहता ही है। इतना बड़ा कैंपस में इतना बड़ा हस्ता, और मेरे बेटे के ऊपर बेटी के ऊपर आज से नहीं हुआ है, ये लगातार साल डेढ़ साल से ये पीछे षड्यंत्र चली हुई है, एक दिन का नहीं है। और हमारा घर तक कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन लगने नहीं दिया। इसमें जैसे जैसे लोग अपने को अभी कहीं भी बैठते हैं, कहीं भी तो इन्फॉर्मेशन आता है, उसी हिसाब से हमें तहकीकात करते हैं। जनरली हमारे इन्फॉर्मेशन को भी हमने छोड़ा है, हमको भी लेके आ रहे हैं। तो देखा तो ये कई लोगों का हाथ है। इसके लिए मैं गवर्नमेंट को डिमांड किया, अपने गवर्नमेंट को, कि सख्त सख्त कार्रवाई होना चाहिए। अभी वो उस दिन एक आदमी मिला है, उसके पीछे उसका परिवार भी है, उसका माता है, उसका पिता है, उसका बहन है, उसके साथ आरोपी भी है उसके साथ, और यहाँ लोकल लोग भी उसको सपोर्ट दिया है। उनका नाम भी दिया मैंने, खाली एक को आदमी को दिया उन्होंने पकड़ा है, और किसी चीज़ में और आदमी को कोई भी अभी तहकीकात नहीं हुआ करके मेरे को रिपोर्ट आई है, ना अरेस्ट किया है।
क्यों ऐसा क्यों है?
ऐसा क्यों घटनाएं होने के बाद भी आज
कांग्रेस पार्टी से हैं, तो ऐसा क्यों है? ऐसा क्यों है? सरकार कुछ क्यों नहीं कर रही?
ऐसा
कारण क्या है?
ऐसा क्यों?
सरकार मुख्यमंत्री जी को ये घटनाएं के बारे में रॉन्ग इन्फॉर्मेशन दे रहे हैं। पुलिस प्रशासन में जो कमिश्नर है अपने जिले के, उन्होंने गलत बयान, अपने को गलत रिपोर्ट मुख्यमंत्री को दिया हुआ है और उसके साथ गृह मंत्री जी को दिया हुआ है और उसके साथ उप मुख्यमंत्री को उन्होंने गलत बयान देने के लिए गलत रिपोर्ट दे दिया है।
ये मैं जानना चाहूंगा, मैं एक सवाल मैं जानना चाहूंगा आपसे और गीता जी से भी जो बैठी हुई है वहां पे, कि अगर गीता जी भी इस बात पर कहे कि क्या नेहा को कन्वर्ट करने के लिए रिलीजन चेंज करने के लिए कोई फोर्सिंग हो रही थी, कोई फोर्स करने की कोशिश हो रही थी कि वो अपनी रिलीजन को चेंज करे, क्या आप और गीता जी कुछ कह पाएंगी इसके बारे में? गीता जी कुछ कहना चाहेंगी इस पर?
उसके लिए मैं ही बयान देता हूं और मेरे को ऑलरेडी मालूम है कि उन्होंने ऐसा कोई, मेरे को अभी तक कोई रिपोर्ट नहीं है। हम डायरेक्ट भी नहीं बोल सकते क्योंकि खाली प्रपोज कर रहे थे, कॉलेज में छेड़ रहे थे, इतना उनको भी पता है, मेरे को भी रिपोर्ट आई थी, हमको भी जानकारी है। इन्होंने, माताजी ने बोला,
नेहा ने आपको कहा था
ऐसे ही,
नेहा ने आपसे बात की होगी उस समय?
मेरे को नहीं बोला, उनको माताजी को उनको बताया क्या, वो उनको बात किया था कॉलेज में। मेरे को ऐसे लड़के लोग फोर्स कर रहे हैं, जबरदस्ती कर रहे हैं, मेरे को छेड़ रहे हैं करके उन्होंने बोला हुआ है। तो इसीलिए उन्होंने क्या किया,
आप कभी पुलिस के पास गए थे उस समय, निरंजन जी या गीता जी? आपने उस समय कोई पुलिस कंप्लेंट की थी?
ये क्या है, जनरल कॉलेज में ये सिस्टम से चलता रहता है। तुम अपने हिसाब से तुम सही रहना, ऐसी कई घटनाएं को और किसी को ज़बरदस्ती किया तो हम पापा को बोल के उसको करेंगे, थोड़ा तुम कट रहना, और किसी चीज़ का किसी को डरना मत करके उनको हिम्मत देके उन्होंने खुद उनको छोड़ने का, आने का, उसको बाइक भी छोड़ दिया उन्होंने, उसका मोबाइल भी उसने छोड़ दिया, घर में ही छोड़ दिया, बहुत जबरदस्त सब जगह पे फ़ोन आने लगा तो मोबाइल भी अपना छोड़ दिया है। तो उसने एक 8 से 10 दिन 15 दिन से और टोटली बहुत बोले तो बहुत अफसोस थी उसको। पीछे से सभी लोग ऐसा प्यार करने के लिए उसको ये कर रहे थे, प्रपोज कर रहे थे करके उसको डर हो रहा था उसको।
निरंजन जी और गीता जी कुछ कहना चाहेंगी? गीता जी कुछ कहना चाहेंगी?
मेरा मिसेस भी उस कार्य बारे में बयान दे रही है। हाँ, कह रहे
ಬಿ ಸಿ ಎ ಕಲಿಯೋ ಹೊತ್ನಾಗ ಅವನು ಅವರು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು 4 ಅಥವಾ 5 ಜನ ಸೇರಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇರ್ತಿದ್ರು. ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವು. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಡೋ ಹೊತ್ನಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಅವನು ಅದನ್ನು ದುರುಪಯೋಗ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾನ. ನನಗೆ ನೀನು ಇಷ್ಟ, ನೀನು ನನ್ನ ಲವ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಪೀಡಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದ. ಆಕಿ ಬಂದು ನನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದ, ಮಮ್ಮಿ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಹುಡುಗ ನನಗೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕಾಡ್ಸಾಕತ್ತಾನ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕೇಳಾಕತ್ತಾನ, ನಾನು ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೇನಿ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು. ನಾನು ಅವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿರು, ಬಹಳ ನೋಡು, ನಿನ್ನ ವಿಚಾರಕೊಂಡಿರೋ ಅವ್ನು ಹೇಳು, ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಮಾಡು, ನಾವು ಇಂಥದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದು ನಮ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನೀವು ಒಟ್ಟು ಹುಷಾರಿರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ನೀನು ಫೋರ್ಸೇಬಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪಪ್ಪ ಹೇಳಿ ಆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿಸೋನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ನಾನು. ಆಯಿತು ಸರಿ ಅಂತಂದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಆ್ಯನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬಂತು, ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ್ರು, ಬಿ ಸಿ ಎ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ 8 ಮಂತ್ಸ್ ಮನೆಯೊಳಗೆ ಇದ್ಲು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಬರಬೇಕು, ಪಿ ಜಿ ಟಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಫೋನ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಮೆಸೇಜಸ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಏನೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಹಂಗಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಗ್ದೈತೆ ಬಿಡು, ಹೋಗೈತೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದೆ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಬಂತು, ಪಿ ಜಿ ಟಿ ಬರೆದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ BUB ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ MCA ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಆವಾಗೂ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನೂ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಅವಳು ಯಾಕೋ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಭಯ ಪಟ್ಲು. ನಾನೇ ಬಿಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ಕರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಹೋಗ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೆ. ಈಗ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಅಚಾನಕ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಹಂಗಾಗಿದ್ದು ನನಗೂ ತಿಳಿತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ. ಈ ಥರ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಕೊಡಿಸಿ, ಇಷ್ಟು ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು.
Rashmi, could you help me translate that, please?
Neha was part of a group
Can you unmute
project,
yourself,
and
Rashmi?
group projects are done with 3-4 students, and that's a group
Yes.
project, and that the numbers were circulated because
Yes.
they were working together.
Yes.
And the boy who murdered Neha took the number from, misused it when it was circulated for group project and started going after her. He tried proposing to her, tried asking her out multiple times, and the girl comes home terrified and reports it to her mother, saying that she's worried, that she's being irritated, she's being hounded, she's being harassed. And her mother says, you do not worry, you tell him no, you did a good thing, you said no, and you be brave, if he comes after you even more, we'll tell your father and your father will take care of it. And she had just finished her bachelor's and she was at home because she was expecting her results of her bachelor's degree, after which she was writing an entrance for her master's. So she was at home, so there was no nuisance during that period. Even then, when she was enrolled into MCA, her mom made it a point that she would go to drop her daughter to college and bring her back, because her daughter was still very unsettled and scared of this man who was after her. And this incident happens.
Yeah.
And her mom, seeks that minimum there needs to be justice, that her daughter deserves the dignity of justice. That's her mother's sort of last request.
But the question here is, Rashmi, and I want to take it to Brinda, and then I'll bring in Sanju, is that if in Karnataka today, even a Congress corporator's daughter is not safe, and if there is a feeling that you will not get any justice from the police, there must be a reason for it. That some people will not be questioned because it will upset vote bank politics. I mean, this is very, very upsetting. I don't want to come to these conclusions, but it's terrifying.
No.
Brinda,
Case has been handed over
it's
to
terrifying.
CID.
And even now, this is... Brinda?
May I please? Okay. First and foremost, I think it is important for us to understand that the police has registered an FIR and arrested one person. Every angle has to be investigated. The police cannot make any excuses. The police cannot give any other reasoning or justification. If the parents feel that there is a love jihad angle to it, the police will anyway investigate it. The fact that police are doing this job and the case goes to court and there it kind of gets acquitted, or it goes on for years together, we don't see justice, is not only going to be in this case, but it has been there in the cases in the past also, because this is not the first time a girl has been stabbed in a college.
Yes, but
a couple of months ago, there was a similar such case of a jilted lover who had stabbed another girl.
But
there was one in front
is it
of
appropriate?
a corporate office.
It sounds like it's
Yeah, but is it I understand. Yeah, I want Sanju to respond to this. Sanju.
Thank you.
I just want to add here, but the Chief Minister has already presumed that it is not a case of love jihad even before the investigation has been begun or has been concluded.
Arnab,
that is more worrying. Sanju.
Yes, thank you. Arnab, we've all been reading about this horrific tragedy, and I think based on what Rashmi just translated, the girl's mother's ordeal, I think one thing is very clear. First and foremost, let us stop victim shaming, because I've seen on social media many people saying, oh, Neha Hiremat was in a relationship with Fayaz, and it was a love affair gone wrong, whereas that is absolutely not the case. And even if there was a relationship, once a girl says no, once a woman says no, a no is a no. Clearly, Fayaz did not take the no, for an answer. So my first point is stop victim shaming. My second point is this. Right from Siddaramaiah to Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar to the Law Minister H.K. Patil, have you noticed they have been trying to digress and deflect from the fact that law and order under the 7th schedule of the Constitution is a state subject. Siddaramaiah is responsible. D.K. Shivkumar is equally responsible. The Law Minister H.K. Patil who says that love jihad is a figment of BJP's imagination. I want to ask Mr. H.K. Patil, what has happened with Neha Hiramat? Do you still concede and say that love jihad is simply a figment of Sanghi minds? Because if you are saying that, you're living in La La Land. My third and most important point, which Neha's father will corroborate. Can I just finish?
Madam,
Arnab?
please stop
My
doing
third
politics
point,
on dead bodies.
Arnab, can I please finish? My
There
third
is
point, which Neha's
absolutely
father will
nothing called as
corroborate.
love
I
jihad.
refuse to debate like this.
There is absolutely
not
nothing called
acceptable,
as
Arnab.
love jihad.
I don't know why you don't
Stop
ask
Let
this
her
man.
finish.
I don't know who he is.
Let her
He's
finish,
blabbering
please.
non-stop.
Let her finish, please. Abdul Razak, 1 minute. Can I come on the left? Abdul
Can I
Razak,
please
let her
finish?
finish. I'll come to you right after that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because Neha's parents are here, let us maintain some decorum on the program tonight.
you.
They have come to us at a time when they are going through a period of tremendous grief. Thank you.
I think
Yes.
one
Please
thing,
continue.
Arnab, which Neha's father will be able to corroborate, because I have been reading about it in the media and on social media. Neha's father said that the police commissioner of Hubli Dharwad, a lady called Renuka Sukumar, she needs to step down or she needs to be sacked because of zero accountability. But I believe till date there has been no action by Siddaramaiah against Renuka Sukumar, who's the police commissioner of the Hubli Dharwad region. The second point is Neha Hiramat's father has been constantly and persistently saying that a CBI probe is a must, because it is only then that doodh ka doodh aur pani ka pani hoga. And while the Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar has been assuring that a CBI probe is something that they welcome, they have not been categorically saying that it is something which they are agreeable to. So I want to ask through your channel, is Siddaramaiah open to a CBI probe? Because finally it is Siddaramaiah who's calling the shots. Is Home Minister G. Parameshwara going to resign?
I'll get Razak to respond to you first. I'll get Mr. Razak to respond to you first. I'll get Syed Aslam to respond, and then I have a question for Niranjan ji. Yes, Razak, you were saying.
Arnab ji, I condemn this deplorable act. You know, how much ever you condemn, it is very less. My condolences to Geeta ji and Niranjan ji. We, the Anjuman-e-Islamia of Hubli, had organized a protest today, invited Niranjan ji to come to our, gathering. We ourselves have protested. We have advised our lawyers not to take up this case. For all you know, tomorrow, if he is able to secure a bail, he is not supposed to be coming back to our locality. That we have ensured. We ourselves have condemned this to the extreme levels possible. But my personal request to the people of BJP and RSS, wherever you have seen the protests have saffron flags, and only the BJP people and the RSS people have protested. Why I am saying this is because they want to politicize this and gain for their political reasons. Let us not get into politics out of it. The state government has done its bit. They have arrested 3 people, not only the killer.
No. I want to ask Niranjan ji. Niranjan ji.
Offensive.
1 minute. I have a question to Niranjan ji. Niranjan ji, मेरा सवाल आपसे है. निरंजन जी, मेरा सवाल आपसे एक मिनट. निरंजन जी, आपने कहा है कि जो फयाज के पेरेंट्स हैं, आपने कहा है कि उनकी भी अरेस्ट होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि उन्होंने कहा था कि आपकी बेटी को इस्लाम में कन्वर्ट करने को या तो कन्वर्ट करे या फिर मार डाले. ये बात आप क्यों कह रहे हैं? क्या सच है? क्या ये बात आपने कही है? और आपको ये खबर कहाँ से मिली है, निरंजन जी?
ये घटनाएं होने के लिए अपने बेटे के ऊपर प्रेशर आया है और वो डिप्रेशन में चली गई है. अभी मैंने तहकीकात किया अपना पर्सनल लिंक के ऊपर, तो मेरे को सभी लोग इन्वॉल्व है. डायरेक्टली ही इज कमिंग ऑन मीडिया एंड सेइंग इट, दे आर द बेस्ट फ्रेंड एंड he proposed to my daughter. कौन बोल रहा है ये बात को? उनका पिताजी बोल रहे हैं. मैं उसको सॉरी मांगता हूं करके ऐसा स्टेटमेंट देते हैं. उसका माताजी भी बोलती है कि बेस्ट फ्रेंड, और उसको उनको दोनों का प्यार था करके. वो उसको प्रपोज कब किया और प्यार कब किया? प्रपोज करने के बाद वो उन्होंने रिजेक्ट करने के बाद है, कहाँ से प्यार आती है? एक बात. दूसरी बात, उसका बहन उसके साथ लगातार सोशल मीडिया में पोस्ट कर रही है, जो BCA 1, 2, 3 years
उसका 1 साल से बैक हुआ है, वो फेलियर स्टूडेंट है. He was not a present student at Kelly Institute. He was the ex-student and he is the ex-classmate also. आज वो क्लास में भी नहीं है, वो कॉलेज में भी नहीं पढ़ रहा है. तो ये लोगों को जब उसका फेल हो गया है कॉलेज का, उसका कोई भी नेटवर्क अपने साथ लिंक में नहीं आना चाहिए. कॉलेज में प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट मिला था, प्रोजेक्ट करने के लिए 5 लोगों को बीसीए पढ़ने के समय वो लोग उनको दे देते हैं प्रोजेक्ट के लिए. तो प्रोजेक्ट करने के बाद वो प्रोजेक्ट में जितने भी लोग हैं तभी उनको पर्सनल टॉक में होना पड़ता है वो प्रोजेक्ट ख़त्म करने के लिए. तो प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर ध्यान रहता है. अपनी बेटी ओनली फोकस ऑन द एजुकेशन, फोकस्ड ऑन द ऑल स्टूडेंट सेम लेवल, क्लासमेट करके बात करते हैं.
क्या नेहा पर दबाव डाला जा रहा था निरंजन जी कि वो अपने रिलीजन को बदले, ऐसी कोई दबाव था क्या उन पर?
रिलीजन का दबाव से ज्यादा वो पहला प्यार करने के लिए दबाव था. उसको प्रेशर कर रही थी. प्रेशर क्यों कर रही थी? उसको क्यों प्रेशर कर रही है ना? उसको प्रेशर क्यों कर रही है? वो कौन कौन प्रेशर किया है? अगर वो क्लासमेट है तो क्लासमेट के हिसाब से रहना है. उसको फैमिली को इन्वॉल्व क्यों कर रहे हैं? उनका फैमिली का टच कैसा मिल गया? मेरे को इसमें जो मैं आरोप क्यों कर रहा हूं, उन्होंने खुद मीडिया में आके बयान दिया हुआ है. उसका पिताजी, उसका माताजी और उसका बहन का सोशल मीडिया में पोस्ट कर रही है. रात को 1 बजे पोस्ट होता है उसका आईडी से.
मैं समझ रहा हूं.
बहन ऑलरेडी वो बीएमएस डॉक्टर पढ़ रही है.
सैयद असलम, क्या भी एक इलेक्शन के पहले गो स्लो टाइप पॉलिसी है कांग्रेस सरकार की? क्या उनको लगता है कि इस पर टोटल क्विक इन्वेस्टिगेशन, बहुत अरेस्ट करने से दे विल लूज अ वोट बैंक?
No, so Arnab, it is not like that. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to vociferously and unequivocally condemn this barbaric act. Okay, this kind of barbaric act cannot be supported by anybody, irrespective of the community. We absolutely, our heartfelt condolences are with the family. Niranjan ji, ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಈ ದುಃಖದ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಗುವಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಕಲ್ಪಿಸ್ಕೊಡಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಮೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋರಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ absolutely, Arnab, there is absolutely no reason for anyone to support this act, and we vociferously condemn this. Now, having said that, there is
come to the point. Why is the Congress party going slow? I mean, come to the point here.
Exactly. So I come to the point. Arnab, the state government has already picked up this point. It has been given to the CID now. And if there's a requirement, if there is a demand for the CBI inquiry, even that needs to be taken up. Now, the point is very simple.
Have the parents been interrogated based upon Niranjan ji's statement? Why have the parents not been interrogated? Did the same Congress government not downplay the Rameshwaram blast?
There's no reason for the BJP. There's no reason for the BJP to politicize this. There is no reason for them to communalize this. There's absolutely no angle of.
What should the BJP do? Not talk about it at all, is it?
Communal act here.
Who's to decide it?
Anjumana Islam is standing in solidarity with the
last
family.
30 seconds.
Our heartfelt condolences are with this family. We want the justice to be given to Neha. Absolutely, there's no question about it. But having said that,
all statements. Sanju, can I
avoid the communal?
Sanju, briefly, then Rashmi. Yeah.
Arnab, I just want to say one thing. While this is a horrifying tragedy, and I don't think words can really console the Hiremat family at this point in time, I always believe the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and actions speak louder than words. My simple point is this. In January 2024, barely a few months back, there was a young Muslim woman who was sexually assaulted, gang raped by 9 Muslim men because she had a Hindu partner. It happened in a small place called Hangal in Haveri in Karnataka. This was also a love jihad case, but a reverse love jihad.
Mr. Gurman and his family sitting here, at least please avoid your politics today. Have some shame.
I did not heckle you. Can you show some decency? Can you show some decency? Did I heckle you? Can you show some decency? Why are you always supporting radical Islamists?
Okay,
Why are you always supporting radical Islamists?
I would like to. I would like Rashmi to have the last word tonight because she's hardly spoken. Rashmi, beyond politics, can you avoid these kind of issues getting politicized at a time like this?
It is wrong to normalize these kinds of crimes on campuses, but these crimes are on the rise. And predatory proselytization is something that we should not rule out, because predatory proselytization is something that's becoming more and more normal, and denying it is going to do us no good as a society. It needs to be investigated. It needs to be a proper investigation. Just because political parties want to play politically correct, that doesn't mean that we cannot address and broach issues of radicalization, of proselytization. It exists in our society.
I think we should address them clearly. And address the uncomfortable truths that we are stumbling upon once again.
Stop giving certificates to Hindus.
I would like to at the very end, Neha ji, Niranjan ji और गीता जी, इस शोक के समय में एक मिनट प्लीज वॉल्यूम डाउन. इस शोक पे समय में आप मेरे साथ प्रोग्राम पर आके आपने जो बात की, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. सारा देश आपके साथ है, रिपब्लिक नेटवर्क भी आपके साथ है. हम भी डिमांड करेंगे कि सीबीआई इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद निरंजन जी, गीता जी. व्यूअर्स, we are tracking the developments on justice for Neha, and I'd like to remind you at the end, in this election season, we are bringing you non-stop live coverage from the early morning till the end of campaigning. Tell us what you think of our coverage and see you tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.
Co-powered by Simpolo Tiles and Bathware.
In the India Today Best Universities 2023 survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIIMS Delhi,